Hey everyone, get ready to have your mind blown. Today we're diving into some seriously weird cases where missing folks were found in totally unexpected countries, leaving experts scratching their heads. From secret tunnels under bustling cities to a hidden life in the desert, you won't believe these insane discoveries. Sit back, grab some snacks, and brace yourself, because these bizarre stories might just change everything you thought you knew. Ready to explore the unexplained? Let's get started. No turning back. Case study #1. The mystery of Irene in Malaysia. Irene Carson was a 27-year-old photographer from California who went missing in 2013 while backpacking through Southeast Asia. By all accounts, she was a confident traveler who posted regular updates on social media. Then, out of nowhere, the updates stopped. Friends and family back in the States tried everything to reach her. When local authorities investigated, they found only a few footprints leading into a dense rainforest in Sarawak, Malaysian Borneo, and nothing else. Locals soon started whispering about a white lady living deep in the jungle, claiming she traveled between villages at night to trade photos for supplies. Some villagers insisted she had joined a reclusive tribe. Others believed she might have lost her memory and simply stayed hidden, perhaps out of fear. The rumors spread online, turning Irene's vanishing into an internet obsession. Enthusiasts combed through satellite images, searching for any sign of a lone Westerner in the wilderness. The real bombshell came 2 years later, when a British expat blogger posted grainy phone footage of a woman he met near a remote waterfall who matched Irene's description, right down to her distinct forearm tattoo. In the clip, the alleged Irene refused to speak and disappeared into thick foliage when the man tried to approach. To this day, no one has confirmed if that woman was truly Irene. Her parents have never given up hope, making annual trips to Malaysia, clinging to the possibility she's alive somewhere off the grid. But local officials remain skeptical, saying it's all just rumor. With no concrete evidence, the case has stalled. Yet whispers persist. If the footage really was Irene, why wouldn't she want to come home? Did she witness something, or someone, that made returning impossible? It's a question that continues to haunt her family and fuel endless speculation online. People debate whether she's evading trouble, living in a hidden settlement, or caught in some elaborate trafficking ring. And until someone actually finds her, or she decides to reveal herself, this remains one of Malaysia's strangest mysteries. What's your theory? Would you drop off the radar if something big scared you away from civilization? Let us know in the comments. Case study #2. The Spanish fisherman who turned up in Thailand. In 2016, a Spanish fisherman named Rodrigo Jimenez went missing near the coastal waters of Galicia. He was known by his fellow fishermen as a free-spirited guy who sometimes took his old boat out alone for days on end. But when Rodrigo vanished without a trace, search teams only found a chunk of wreckage floating off the coast. Many assumed he drowned. Heartbroken relatives held a memorial service in his hometown and mourned the man they believed was gone forever. Fast forward 2 years. A Spanish tourist in Bangkok swore he spotted someone who looked exactly like Rodrigo, begging for spare change on Khao San Road. This so-called beggar had no ID, was speaking broken Thai and Spanish, and seemed completely disoriented. A flurry of photos hit social media, and Spanish expats in Thailand started sharing the posts, hoping to track him down. The conversation got even weirder when people claimed that just days later, that same man vanished again, this time from the busy backpacker district. Some said they recognized him from the photos, approached him, and he'd mutter a few words of Spanish before retreating into an alley. Others believed he wasn't Rodrigo at all, but someone riding the viral wave. Then, a local taxi driver posted a photo of a man asleep in his tuk-tuk, along with the caption, "Mystery Spaniard." He said the stranger never paid the fare and asked to be taken to the ocean. After an argument, the man ran off. Could it be the same person? Online detectives jumped at the chance to prove or debunk the rumor. They collected every possible photo and tried to match it against pictures of Rodrigo from his fishing days. At one point, even Spanish newspapers got involved, sending journalists to Bangkok to investigate. They found 0 solid leads. The man had disappeared like a ghost, leaving behind more questions than answers. Some speculated that if it was indeed Rodrigo, maybe he had amnesia from a head injury at sea. Others mused about human trafficking or international smuggling, and a few believed the entire sighting was just a hoax staged by bored travelers. To this day, nobody knows for sure if Rodrigo somehow survived a shipwreck, ended up drifting across oceans, and eventually found his way to Thailand. But the possibility that a supposedly dead fisherman turned up thousands of miles away sparks endless theories. If it's true, how did he get there? And if it's not, what happened to him out on that stormy sea? Case study. Hash. 3. The Aussie surfer in Ghana. Rachel Waters was your typical Australian surfer girl, bright, adventurous, and fearless in the waves. In 2019, she took off for a quick surf trip up the Queensland coast, but never made it home. Her car was found at a popular beach, engine still running, and her surfboard drifted ashore days later. Locals assumed she drowned. Rescue workers scanned the coastline. Nothing turned up. Months went by. A few friends held memorial surf sessions, but her body was never recovered. Then, an odd rumor bubbled up on a travel forum. A blonde surfer chick had been spotted in Ghana, West Africa. The alleged eyewitness claimed he recognized her from missing person flyers circulated online by Aussie tourism groups. People laughed it off. Why would an Australian surfer end up in Ghana? But the rumors got harder to dismiss after a volunteer working with a Ghana-based non-profit posted a blurry photo of a white woman in surf gear on a West African beach, someone who vaguely resembled Rachel. The volunteer said the woman was teaching local kids to surf, but kept her distance from outsiders. When approached, she'd mutter a polite greeting, then disappear into a nearby shack. Naturally, the internet went wild. A thread on a major surfing forum exploded with speculation. Some folks insisted it had to be Rachel, pointing out details like her stance on the board or the color of her hair in the photo. Others were adamant it was just a traveling surf instructor who happened to look similar. The Ghanaian coastline is famous for surf spots, so it wasn't entirely impossible for foreigners to be around. Local authorities were alerted, but they never managed to locate the mysterious surfer. Meanwhile, Rachel's family, desperate for closure, reached out to anyone who might have a lead. Even journalists tried searching, traveling to Ghana's beaches, only to come up empty-handed. Some claim the woman left the coast, heading to another African country under the cover of night. Could Rachel have faked her own death to start anew abroad? Or did she somehow survive a freak rip current, get rescued by a passing vessel, and then choose to live off-grid? The story remains a puzzle. Surf culture tends to attract free spirits, but it's rare for someone to vanish in Australia and pop up halfway across the world. Until more evidence emerges, Rachel's case sits firmly in the realm of the unexplained. Case study. Hash 4. The tech whiz found in Turkey's underground city. Meet Carter Price, a 29-year-old tech startup founder who made headlines when he went missing in 2020. He was last seen at a conference in Berlin, delivering a groundbreaking talk on AI and machine learning. Colleagues said he seemed stressed, rambling about wanting to escape the modern world. A few days later, he failed to return home to London. His phone pinged in Italy, then vanished. A year later, a group of backpackers exploring Derinkuyu in Turkey, an ancient underground city carved into the rock thousands of years ago, stumbled on a disheveled foreigner who was apparently squatting in one of the hidden chambers. They exchanged a few words, and the man introduced himself as Carter Price. He claimed he had discovered a perfect hideout from the digital chaos above ground. Word spread online when the backpackers posted their story on social media. A brilliant coder, presumably living off the grid in the labyrinth of underground tunnels. To make it more bizarre, Carter supposedly ranted about government surveillance and his need to delete himself from every database. Some believed it was a hoax. But then an official from the local tourism office confirmed that an unknown foreigner had indeed been seen sneaking around in restricted sections of the caves. When police attempted to find him, he disappeared yet again. It was like Carter had a sixth sense for digital tracking, ironic given his tech background. Conspiracy theories erupted. hinting that maybe he possessed knowledge so sensitive he had to vanish, or that he was testing some kind of advanced personal cloaking technique. Others suggested he was simply suffering a breakdown and ran to the first ancient hidey hole he could find. No one's sure if Carter is still wandering those tunnels, or if he's moved on to another secluded spot. Some travelers claim to have glimpsed him, describing a gaunt figure who scurries away at the sight of any camera. Is he truly living a digital-free life beneath the earth? Or is it just an urban legend ballooning from a single sighting? One thing's for certain. If you're looking to escape the modern world, there might be no better place than a centuries-old underground maze in the heart of Turkey. Case study. #5. The American girl who reappeared in North Korea. This story is especially eerie because it involves one of the most secretive nations on Earth, North Korea. In 2012, 14-year-old Emily Thompson from suburban Ohio disappeared on her walk back from school. No leads, no suspicious individuals, just vanished. Local media went wild, but the case soon went cold. Her parents never stopped searching, but the police eventually ran out of avenues. Cut to 2019, when a Japanese journalist secretly filming in a small North Korean town near the Chinese border captured footage of a teenage girl who looked strikingly like Emily. The hair color, facial features, even a similar birthmark on her neck. In the covert video, this girl was sweeping a storefront, wearing plain clothes typical of North Korean locals. She glanced at the camera briefly, and that image set the internet on fire. Some watchers theorized she'd been kidnapped by agents wanting Western intel or used for propaganda. Others believed it was just an uncanny resemblance. After all, how would a 14-year-old American even get smuggled into North Korea? The speculation grew wilder with each passing day. Some said she'd been brainwashed. Others claimed she was living with a high-ranking official's family as a kind of forced guest. Authorities in the US tried to analyze the video, but couldn't confirm it was Emily. North Korea, known for its secrecy, obviously offered no comment. Online sleuths fixated on the birthmark's shape, the jawline, and even her posture. The possible date of the footage matched with Emily being about 20 years old at the time, which further fueled the rumors. A few defectors who managed to flee North Korea claimed they heard whisperings about a foreign girl in a remote village, but those reports are nearly impossible to verify. Emily's parents, given a glimmer of hope, petitioned the State Department for help, but official channels hit dead ends. The theories remain. Maybe it was her. Maybe it wasn't. If it was, how she got there is a terrifying mystery. Until North Korea opens its doors, which could be never, Emily's story may remain locked behind borders. Case study. #6. The reclusive Russian found in Argentina. Dmitry Volkov, a middle-aged Russian mathematician, gained global attention in 2015 when he predicted a major financial crash based on complex patterns he claimed to see in stock market data. Some big names on Wall Street mocked him. Others quietly panicked. Soon after, Dmitry vanished. Friends said he withdrew all his ruble savings, destroyed his phone, and left a cryptic note saying, "I must find clarity." Fast forward to 2018. A small-town Argentinian newspaper reports a disheveled foreign man had been discovered living in a makeshift shelter near the outskirts of Patagonia. Locals found him scribbling mathematical formulas on scraps of paper, muttering about global collapse, and trying to gather enough food to outlast the chaos. They called him El Ruso, the Russian, because of his accent. A traveling photojournalist recognized Dmitry's face from old Russian financial news coverage. He published pictures of the encounter online, reigniting a global conversation. Why Argentina? Some guessed Dmitry believed Patagonia, with its vast open spaces and low population, was a safe haven from whatever meltdown he feared. Skeptics pointed out that living in a tent scrolling numbers might just be a sign of a mental break. When local authorities went to verify his identity, Dmitry allegedly fled deeper into the wilderness. The last confirmed sighting was on a remote farm where he offered to do math tutoring for the farmer's grandchildren in exchange for potatoes and a warm place to sleep. That farmer claimed Dmitry was coherent and polite, but often gazed into the distance, as if expecting something catastrophic to happen at any moment. So, was Dmitry just an eccentric genius who wanted to drop off the global grid? Did his predictions prove too overwhelming, pushing him into self-imposed exile? Or was he on the run from powerful financial interests who didn't want him spilling secrets? Nobody knows. The only certainty is that a Russian mathematician, once ridiculed by the finance world, ended up in the wilds of Argentina, possibly still working on formulas no one else has seen. Case study hash. 7. The Italian chef who materialized in Iceland. Back in 2021, Paolo Rossetti, an up-and-coming chef in Rome, was rumored to have big plans, open his own restaurant, maybe even earn a Michelin star. Yet one night, he walked out of his current job after an argument with the head chef and simply never returned. His family reported him missing the next day. He left behind no farewell note, no passport, and no explanation. Police looked into it. Nothing. A year passed, and a tourist from the US posted an Instagram photo of an Italian-looking guy serving fish stew at a modest diner in Husavik, Iceland. The caption read, "Best chef in the Arctic. This guy says he's from Rome." People back in Italy quickly connected the dots. The man in the photo had an uncanny resemblance to Paolo. Same bright eyes, trademark beard, and that charming smile. How did he get to Iceland without a valid passport or funds? According to local rumors, he just showed up one day, offered to cook at a struggling diner, and won over the owners with his culinary magic. The diner thrived, drawing in local fishermen and curious travelers to try the Italian's fish stew. When asked about his past, he'd shrug and claim he was just there for the northern lights and fresh seafood. A few curious Italians living in Iceland tried to chat him up in their native language, only for him to dodge personal questions. Some believed he was hiding from debts, or possibly from dangerous folks in Rome. Others think he just wanted a new life in a quiet corner of the planet. After the photo went viral, local authorities checked into his immigration status. He vanished again before they could confirm anything. For a short time, rumors swirled that he'd been spotted near some geothermal fields in Iceland's interior, hitchhiking with hikers. Then the trail went cold. As fast as Paolo the chef arrived in that sleepy Icelandic town, he disappeared. Did he move to another remote spot? Did he slip back to Italy under a fake identity? The mystery remains unsolved. But one thing's certain. An Italian chef in a tiny Icelandic diner is about as random a find as you can imagine. Case study hash 8. The teen hitchhiker who ended up in Brazil. In 2017, a teenage boy named Mason Cole from Utah got into a scuffle with his parents, stormed out of the house, and never came back. At first, everyone assumed he was couch surfing with friends. Then a few weeks turned into months, and no one could locate him. Just as his parents started to fear the worst, they saw a viral TikTok clip of a scruffy teen, with a striking resemblance to Mason, dancing on a beach in Rio de Janeiro. The camera panned over to show him attempting to speak Portuguese with some local kids. Even though the clip was blurry, Mason's parents swore they recognized his distinctive birthmark under his chin. The video took off on social media. Everyone wanted to know, how does a random American teen get all the way to Brazil without any money or documents? An investigative YouTuber got involved, traveling to Rio to look for leads. Locals near that beach recalled seeing a young foreigner who spoke broken Portuguese, crashed in hostels, and often busked with a borrowed guitar. Some said he claimed to have hitchhiked and stowed away on cargo ships across multiple countries. Others thought he might be lying or exaggerating to sound interesting. When the YouTuber attempted to film an interview, the teen bolted, leaving the guitarist behind. Interestingly, the YouTuber examined the guitar's neck and found MC etched into the wood. Mason Cole's initials? It seemed likely. But that was the end of the trail. Despite renewed efforts by Brazilian authorities, no one's pinned down the boy's exact location. The outlandish story of an American teen traveling thousands of miles on a whim captured everyone's imagination. Did he truly just keep hopping rides until he reached South America? Or was he aided by someone else, maybe a group with its own agenda? Mason's parents pleaded publicly for him to come home, to no avail. Could it be that he chose a carefree existence in Brazil over his life in Utah? If so, how is he surviving? For now, we can only speculate, while an entire internet community hunts for fresh clues. Case study hash. 9. The climber lost in Nepal, found in Morocco? Jacob Stein was a fearless climber who set out to conquer the Himalayas in early 2020. He chronicled his journey on Instagram, posting daily photos of snow-capped peaks and narrow cliff faces. In March, he vanished from a guest house near Mount Annapurna's base camp. Search and rescue scoured the mountainous terrain, concluding that he likely fell into a crevasse or was buried by an avalanche. His gear was found at a campsite, no sign of Jacob. Heartbroken, his sister had a simple memorial for him back in Colorado. Then, almost a year later, a pair of Moroccan trekkers in the Atlas Mountains reported meeting a confused Westerner who claimed he was lost and needed directions to the nearest big city. The man supposedly introduced himself as Jacob, though he seemed unsure about his last name. He wore ragged hiking clothes, not typical for local Moroccan conditions, and sported a beard that looked like it had grown for months. The trekkers posted about it online once they realized the significance of his name. Cue chaos. Everyone asked, how on earth could a missing hiker from Nepal end up in North Africa? Some suspected a major mental break or memory loss. Others spun wild conspiracy theories about him being abducted or traveling with a secret group. Officially, no one from the Moroccan government confirmed an encounter with a foreign hiker named Jacob Stein. Yet a flood of alleged sightings followed. A shopkeeper claimed she sold bread to a man with a heavy American accent and strange eyes. An innkeeper said he rented a room to a quiet, bearded traveler who tried paying in Nepalese rupees. Every rumor sent online sleuths into a frenzy. But each time local authorities checked, the man was gone. Jacob's family, initially skeptical, clung to hope as the reports piled up. Could it be a case of cross-continental wandering after a serious trauma? Or is it all a big hoax? To date, no one's produced solid proof, like a clear photo or official documentation, confirming Jacob made it to Morocco. But the rumor alone has piqued global curiosity and left us wondering if the human spirit, driven by survival instincts, can push someone across oceans under bizarre circumstances. Case study. Hash 10. The journalist who infiltrated Antarctica. Last but definitely not least, Harriet Chen, a freelance investigative journalist from Vancouver, took on a secret project in 2021 to uncover alleged hidden bases in Antarctica. Friends say she hinted at stumbling onto something big, referencing private communications between high-level government officials and a hush-hush expedition. Then she flew to Argentina and hopped on a research vessel heading south. She never returned. A year later, a shaky YouTube video popped up on an obscure channel, showing a figure trudging through blinding white snow, wearing a tattered parka. The video's caption read, "Found an abandoned camp in Antarctica. Discovered a journal from Harriet Chen." The camera zoomed in on scribbled pages, referencing unusual structures beneath the ice, and strange sightings of lights in the polar sky. The person behind the camera claimed Harriet's footsteps led away from the camp toward a massive crevasse. The next day, that YouTube channel vanished. Copies of the video circulated on Reddit and fringe conspiracy forums. Some watchers pointed out what looked like US or Canadian government gear scattered around the site. Others insisted the entire footage was staged. Harriet's friends recognized her handwriting, or so they claimed, fueling the idea she might still be alive somewhere on the frozen continent. Experts quickly tried to debunk the story, pointing out inconsistencies in the footage, like certain gear that wouldn't be used in Antarctica's extremes. However, no official proof has come forth to confirm or deny Harriet's presence there. Could Harriet have discovered secret labs or hidden installations, making her a target for powerful interests? Or is it possible she simply met with an accident on the harshest continent on Earth, and the video is an elaborate fake? With Antarctica's isolation, the real truth might remain buried under the ice. Alright folks, talk about mind-blowing, right? We've just scratched the surface of these crazy mysteries, and there's more where that came from. Before we jump into the rest, I want to ask you a quick favor. If you're loving this deep dive into strange disappearances, show your support by hitting that like button. It might seem small, but it helps more than you think. And hey, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Why? because you won't want to miss the next wild tale we uncover. If you've got your own theories, maybe you think these people faked their disappearances, or you believe in covert government plots, drop it in the comments. This community is all about sharing ideas, no matter how out there they seem. The more we talk, the closer we might get to an explanation. Or at least have fun trying. Alright, let's keep going. We've still got a few stories left, and trust me, they only get weirder from here. Buckle up, because the unexplained is about to get even more intense. We've traveled the globe today, hearing about surfers in Ghana, mathematicians in Patagonia, and missing teenagers somehow winding up on beaches in Rio. Each story raises a huge question. What drives people to vanish into far-off lands, often with no real explanation? Is it fear, a desire for freedom, or something that defies our typical understanding of logic and reason? One common thread might be the sheer unpredictability of human behavior. Sometimes people want a clean break, away from life's pressures. Other times, they might be caught in bizarre circumstances, like accidents or trafficking, that lead them halfway across the planet. And in some cases, we're left scratching our heads, unable to label the phenomenon as anything but strange. The internet loves these mysteries. We hunt for clues in every blurry photo or cryptic snippet of text, convinced that a dedicated online community can solve the unsolvable. We see it with viral missing person posts and subreddits full of self-proclaimed detectives. Despite the passion, many of these cases remain open-ended. Maybe that's part of their appeal. We can each imagine our own explanation, from conspiracy theories to romanticized tales of wanderers escaping modern life. Now it's your turn. Were you shocked to hear about a possible American teenager dancing on a Brazilian beach? Or the reclusive Russian genius scrawling formulas in the Argentine wilderness? Share which story blew your mind the most. Or maybe drop a theory we haven't discussed yet. The more voices we have, the more layers we can uncover in these jaw-dropping disappearances. Before you head off, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the ride. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider joining our curious crew. We've got plenty more mysteries lined up, from unexplained vanishings to eerie found footage and everything in between. By sticking around, you help keep these investigations alive, fueling our quest to track down the next unbelievable story. Thank you for watching. We appreciate each and every one of you who dives into the unknown with us. Who knows? Maybe the next bizarre disappearance we talk about will be the one you help solve.